Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd just do a quick video to talk through a headlight upgrade I've done to my 2017 Ford Ranger Wildtrak. So basically I wanted to get sort of the sort of updated looking headlights with the LED daylight or daytime running lamps in there. So as you can see maybe from here, I've now installed the bi LED headlights to what is a 2017 Ranger, and I thought I'd just talk through some of the bits and pieces about it. It's pretty easy to do, and it might be sort of an alternative option if you're looking to buy sort of an aftermarket headlight. They do sort of the Mustang style, or there's some Bugatti style headlight options that you can get, but both of those I think retail for around sort of £600 plus for the pair, so they're not cheap. Whereas I've managed to sort of purchase a couple of later headlights off of obviously a sort of an earlier or later model Ranger, and then get them adapted and fitted onto my truck. So this is the original headlamp assembly that's off of the, say, my Ranger, and these ones obviously they don't have the LED daylight running lamp that's on the later models come across here. These have also got the halogen projector lamps in there which is for your dip beam. Your main beam is then another halogen bulb in there, and your side light is a smaller sort of normal bulb just up in the corner there. So these, as I understand it, and for the sort of purpose of these videos, I think these are what would be classed as the T6 version of the Rangers. You can get for the T7 and for the T8 the actual sort of light surround from a physical fitment point of view appears to be exactly the same across all models. So even with the later grills and things like that and the sort of different bumpers, that doesn't seem to sort of affect the physical change fitment of the headlamp at all. It's really just the innards that change. So the T7s I think are the first model that then have an LED daytime running lamp in there, but you still have, I think there's two variants of it, one with the halogen projector and your main beam, and then there's another version that has a xenon bulb in there. So if you know, there's no reason, I don't see why the T7 sort of version of headlights wouldn't also work if you wanted to do a T6 to T7 headlight conversion. I'm sure the same would apply. The only thing to sort of look out for is, I think in this block here on the xenon lamps, you'll have a ballast that gets fitted in here, and then sort of integrates with the main bulb. So if you do buy a set off of eBay, just make sure that they also come with the ballast if you're buying the xenon lamp version of it. Because if they don't come with that, they can be a bit expensive, I think, to buy separately. And then the T8s, which have a very slightly sort of different, the surround on the main dip bulb here is a bit squarer, where these are sort of rounded. You don't have the main bulb in there. Obviously you still have the LED running lamp, which is obviously what's on the truck now, but this sort of section here is more square. So that's how I sort of kind of differentiate between the T6, T7s and T8s. But like I say, the actual physical fitment of them all seems exactly the same, and also more importantly, the actual wiring configuration all seems to be exactly the same. So on the back you have this 8-pin connector in here, and like I say, I've not had to alter any of the wiring at all on the car. So you have an 8-pin connector here, there's a 3-pin connector here which does the headlamp height adjustment, and I think that's pretty. Oh, and obviously the indicator bulb which goes in there. So that's just sort of the three connections. So the indicator bulb just unclips and comes out and fits straight into the T8 version. The wiring and plugs for both of those are exactly the same, and connects all back up. So from a physical installation point of view, really easy to do. There are other videos on YouTube around how to sort of swap the headlights. It does involve taking the grille and ideally sort of removing the bumper, but it is possible to do it if you don't take the undo the bolts on the lower section of the bumper. You can, if you sort of release everything else, move the bumper out enough just to be able to get the headlight assembly in and out. It's a little bit of a fiddle doing it that way, which is what I did. So the idea would be to take the whole bumper off, but if you didn't want to do that, then it is possible to do without. So the only other thing really, and this is what this video is more about, I think, is the updating of the body control module to then work with the integrated headlamp. So what you will also need to do is buy one of the OBD readers, and then you can download a piece of software called 4Scan, install that onto your PC, and then that enables you to be able to then connect and talk to the different control modules on the truck, to be able to then alter that to allow it for the LED headlights and all of that kind of stuff to work. Okay, so this is the OBD Link EX cable adapter that I purchased. So I bought this off of Amazon. I think it was just over £50. You can buy on eBay much cheaper versions of the cable. So this one doesn't have an external switch. It automatically changes the connection speed itself, so you don't have to keep flicking a switch. The cheaper ones that you buy on eBay, they normally will have sort of adapted with it an external switch, and the software will sort of ask you at sort of relevant times to change between different modes and flicking the switch back and forth, which isn't a major issue. But if you want sort of the official kind of version, this is the sort of cable to go for. Like I say, you can buy other ones which are a bit cheaper. And then the actual 4Scan software, it's a piece of freeware that you just download off the internet. You can get, I think it's a 2-month trial license for free. If then you want sort of a continued license, I think it's around £8 or £9 a year, or I think you can do a one-off sort of open-ended license for around 50 something pounds. So at the moment I'm just using this on the trial license, but I'm more likely will extend that, because the chances are I'll probably do some other bits and pieces with it. So I'll get this connected up to the car, and then I'll talk through the various bits you need to change. Okay, so once you've got the connector wired into the laptop, you get this sort of yellowy green or yellowy sort of orange LED come up on there to show that it's sort of connected to the software. Your OBD connection then is just down here on the right hand side of the steering wheel, at the bottom where your engine bonnet releases. You take a cover off from there. This connector then just simply goes in there, and it should turn green, which it has done. And then if we go back to the software, it should auto connect. There's a setting in there to allow it to auto connect. If it doesn't, then you can just click on there. So yeah, it's asking to make sure obviously that the ignition is on, so I need to just do that. So ignition is on, click OK, and then so adapter is not optimized for maximum performance, so this will allow it to automatically adjust the baud rate, which is what I was saying. With the cheaper versions, you'll have a switch, and it'll ask you at periodic times to flick the switch one way or another, to flick between the different speeds. So click yes. That should connect. So I've already got a profile in here which it saves. Get rid of that. So just click on yes. It will then start reading all the different blocks within the systems. Right, so once it's done that, so as you can also check on here, so read DTC code, so these are your I think diagnostic trouble codes or something like that. So if you've got any error codes in there, and you can clear those. But the main piece you'll need to sort of do with this is then go into the configuration and programming. So you've got various different options in here. I think the main ones that you'll probably ever touch, to be fair, would be the Ipc module configuration there, and then your body control module, body CM module configuration here. These ones with the as-built formats, I don't think you need to sort of worry about those, so just concentrate on these two. So select the Ipc module configuration and we select play on there. It'll go through, read all the blocks, and then these are all the different settings that you can then change and sort of write to the software. So if we scroll down, there should be one in here that states for daytime running lamps. So we've got here daytime running lamps menu, and then additional changes required in the body control module. So what you'll need to do is first of all enable that. So if it's a T6, that will more than likely already be disabled, so change that to enabled. I don't need to click the tick because it's already done. And then what that will actually do is on your dash, so where you have the on the right hand side of the speedo, the different sort of menu here, what that will do, if you go into the settings and then the vehicle and then lighting, where it has before, it used to just have the headlamp delay that I could alter. That now gives me the option around the daytime lights and the option within the vehicle to switch them on or off as I want. So that setting in there enables that part of the menu, but when you do that initially, you'll find that that daylight menu on the actual car is grayed out. Although you can see it, doesn't allow you to change anything. So what you then need to do is make some further changes, as it states here, to the body control module. So if we just stop that one, go back to configuration and programming, module configuration, and then read that. So that again runs and reads through all the various different blocks. And then what you'll need to do again is, so just scroll down through here, and then you've got all of your daylight running lamp configurations in here. So what I had to do was the DRL condition. So initially that was option A, which is I guess not in use, and then option B being the one shows that it is in use. You'll need to change that to option B. The daylight running lamp circuit use, it gives you various options here. I've selected it as DRL only. Let's close that. And then DRL by auto lamps, an issue value, and down to, well, you've got personal 1, 2, 3 and 4. So all of these on mine were initially set to inoperative, and I just enabled each of them, and that then seems to allow the option within the menu on the dashboard to be able to sort of select it. And then on the DRL configuration here, you need to select that as dedicated DRL, and then when you select and change those, you can then click on write. It will run through, rewrite those various blocks in the on the actual sort of control modules on the vehicle. You need to reset the ignition, and then it should be job done, and then that should work normally, and you won't get any DTC codes as a result. What I did find initially was when I did connect to the headlights up, because I haven't made those changes in the various control modules, that I was getting an error code coming up to say that the left and right daylights running lamps had a short or open circuit. So that was kind of an error code that came in, but once you say you've made these various changes, that clears that code, and then the actual operation of the headlights should work fine. So, which I'll show you now. So let me just disconnect. So now under normal conditions, so in daytime like this, the headlight switch on the truck is set to auto, and then you get the full bright daylight LED sort of running lamp, and that obviously is showing on both. Now when I switch on the indicators, for example, it then will mute. As you can see here, it's muted the actual daylight running lamp, and you've got your indicator flashing, and obviously on the other side the light's still working. If I was to change the indicator, obviously it will just mute the other side. So I'll just switch that off, and then headlamp wise, if I just switch that at the moment now onto main beam, it sort of half dims the daylight running lamp, and then you get your main headlamp working, and that's it really. So normal high beam, everything else all kind of works perfectly the same, and that's it, job done really. So for what has cost me £200 for the pair of what are pretty much an almost brand new set of T8 headlights, plus the software and the cable, so for around 250 quid, I've then managed to do a headlamp conversion with the later model. All seems to work okay, so cheaper than buying the aftermarket ones. And something else as well, actually, these bi LED headlamps that are in these, an absolute day and night in comparison to the original halogen projector rather lamps that were in the original T6 headlights. So these are much better than the originals. So there we go. So I hope that's of some use to people. Thanks very much.